Well, clearly I have some updates for y'all. And crazy hair, but we're not caring about that right now. So I don't even know where to begin really, but my last public video that I put out was only 7 days ago, and so much has happened. Welcome to the drama of my life. I hope you all enjoy this soap opera as much as I do. So 7 days ago, I put out my July-ish budget review and talked about everything that was going on with the home sale, my retirement accounts, moving to Sweden, all of that. And okay, let's just start with the retirement accounts first. When I put out that video, I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to make it on my flight this Friday to go to Sweden, because I was still waiting for my 403B from job A and my 401k from job B to get transferred over to my brokerage. I wanted that money to hit my brokerage before I set foot in Sweden, for fear of some tax consequences. And that's it in a nutshell. So the good news there is this Monday, yesterday, both of those accounts, the 401k and the 403b, hit my retirement account. Now, for my channel members, last week, while I was hoping that those accounts would get transferred over and make it last week, obviously they didn't, I was in the process of working on a how I'm going to change my investing strategy before I move to Sweden video. Well, as it turns out, I mean, the last little portion of that video I needed to film was me showing y'all how I'm changing my positions in my new IRA once that money hit. It is there, but as it turns out, my brokerage has a rule that if you have X amount of money come over and job A was a larger multiple six-figure amount of money, they put that money on a 5 business day hold to make sure that it clears, and they have like a callback period if there's any kind of fraud claims or wire transfer issues, whatever the case may be. They put that money on hold, so I am not allowed to make any trades until Friday, which is my flight. So my flight leaves here, Charlotte, at 6:30 at night. So Friday morning, I should be able to use that money, and I'm gonna wake up Friday morning, and when the market opens, I will try to place the trades that I'm wanting to do, film the last bit of that video and edit it and get it uploaded for you guys before I fly over to Sweden. So keep an eye out for that. But that was some of the major updates that I had for you guys. My retirement money made it, and I am definitely going to be able to go to Sweden this Friday. I don't have to change my flight again. Things are a go. So, as you'll notice, or I'm sure you did notice from the thumbnail, I now also have an offer on my house. Yeah, like I say, it is wild how things change so quickly for me in the matter of a week. So the video that I put out publicly last, my budget review, there was a lady with a small child that came to look at my house who had pre-approval for a mortgage, and you know, we thought that we were going to get an offer from them. Didn't hear. 5 days later, we finally heard that she had made a big purchase, and apparently she was trying to work through that with her bank. Didn't hear. While we're waiting to hear back from her, another family wanted to come see my house. And it was funny because I was right in the middle of filming my new post-fire budget. I was changing around my spreadsheet and everything and kind of explaining how things are going to look to the channel members now that I am post-fire and I no longer have steady income. So I was right in the middle of filming that video when I get a call from my realtor saying, hey, there's some people that want to see your house. And I answered the phone while I was filming, so that little snippet was in there for the channel members to see. And so the story with that is they came to see the house. By the way, I had 10 minutes of notice before these people were going to show up. So My realtor called me, and then 10 minutes later, these people showed up to look at my house. You talk about like panic straightening up at the last minute. Like, I was trying to just straighten everything, dust real quick, get the dirty dishes put away. You know, we were running, trying to quickly make the house look as presentable as it possibly could in a very short period of time. So, as my mom and I were leaving the house, the people had showed up with their realtor to see it. Like, we were walking out as they were getting out of the car to come in and look at my house. So, you know, we talked to them for just a few minutes, kind of got a feel for the situation. And this was, well, it's an older couple that was interested in buying the house. And I say older, they looked maybe late 50s, somewhere early 60s, somewhere around that range if I had to guess. So it was a couple, and but only one half of this couple was here that day, and one of their kids and spouse and a very young baby were here to look at the house. So it was kind of a party, along with their realtor. And their showing was supposed to start at 3:45, and so, you know, my mom and I, we didn't want to feel like we were breathing down their neck or watching them or anything, because I do not have a big house, y'all. So we left so they could walk around and just look at things at their own time. And my mom and I went to park nearby where they could not see us, but we could see the house a little bit, not all of it. So we could kind of keep an eye to see, you know, if we could tell whether or not they liked it, and also so that we could tell when they left, so that we could go back home. And they stayed a full 45 minutes to look at the house. About halfway through that, I get a call from my realtor, and she said that they wanted to book a second showing for the next day. Now, at the time, I didn't realize it was this couple that wanted to look at the house. I just knew that they wanted a second showing for whatever reason. And so I was kind of, I mean, it's a good sign, of course, if you want a second showing, but I just didn't know why they wanted to do that. And it turns out that the husband half of this couple was not available to see the house that day for whatever reason. So they came back the next day to do a second showing. And the second showing was scheduled from 4 to 5 p.m. My mom and I went to get some food while they were here looking at the house a second time. And we got done eating and kind of did the same thing. We drove by the house, sort of. We could tell that they were still there, and it was like 10 till 5. So we went and parked just, you know, where we could see the house, but they couldn't really see us, and just kept an eye to see, you know, when they were going to leave, because I certainly did not want to rush them if they were interested enough to have a second viewing. And y'all, they stayed a full hour and 15 minutes. But at the hour and 15 minute mark, I kind of started wondering, like, if there was some kind of problem or something, or maybe they had a question, or maybe they wanted us to come back so that they could ask something. I don't know. My mind just started spinning because it was 15 minutes after their appointment showing was supposed to be over. So we decided to go ahead and just pull back up to the house and, you know, let them know if they want some more time, they were welcome to it. And, you know, we could go and let them keep looking. But like, as we were pulling up to the house, their realtor was coming out of my front door and starting to lock the door and everything before they left. So it was good timing. And since we were there, you know, I got to meet the husband half of the couple, spoke to them just for a couple minutes, and their realtor told me, you know, that they really like the house and to expect an offer from them that night or the next morning, because, you know, at this point it was after 5, so it might not have been until the next morning that I got the offer. But at 10:30 at night, I got a text from my realtor that said, "Hey, I emailed you." I think she was probably checking to make sure that I was still awake, and I was. So I went ahead and looked at the email, and just to remind y'all, I originally listed my house at $294,900. It sat on the market for 30 days, 0 showings. So I did a $10K price drop. And at this point that these people came to look at the house, it had been sitting on the market for 75 days. Now, I had done no further price drops. I thought 10K was enough to at least get some interest, and apparently it was. So they came to look at the house, and it was listed at $284,900. I really feel like they liked the house, and so I was hoping for an offer like maybe 280, or if I was really lucky, they might just offer what I was asking. But they offered 272. I mean, it's not terrible. It's not a bad offer, because y'all know, if you've been with me for a little while, I did get that one, like, most likely investor guy coming through that looked at the house and offered me 230. So I didn't even counter that guy. But the showings had been so few and far between. But honestly, every showing that I've had where someone who looked at this house who wanted to live here was looking at it, loved the house and wanted it. So it just needed the right people to come see it. And as it turns out, these were the right people. So they only offered 272. So I had the house listed at 285. And that kind of hurt my heart a little bit, because that's over 10K less than what the list price was. Now, it is not a seller's market, clearly. This has taken a very long time to even get these people in and interested. However, I did not want to let the house go for that low of an amount of money. And my thought process was, with them coming to see the house twice, they clearly really liked the property, and I felt like an offer at 272, I felt like they were expecting some kind of counter offer from me. So I ended up talking to my realtor that night. It was getting pretty late at that point, but we decided to do a counter offer at 279 and see what they would say about that. The good thing about this couple is that they already had pre-approval from a bank, so that's good. And they do not need to sell another property in order to buy my property. You know, sometimes you run into that issue where a home sale is contingent on the people wanting to buy your property selling the house they already own. And that, in a market like this, could be a big complication, because, you know, houses are not moving quickly. So that was a good thing. So today is the next day, and I slept terribly last night because I was tossing and turning and thinking about this whole situation and if I was doing the right thing, etc., etc., etc. Just going around and around in my head constantly, y'all. But today I heard back before noon that they countered back again at 275. And y'all, I spent all morning this morning looking at recent comps in the area, houses that have sold recently that are as similar to mine as I can find anyway, 3-bed, 2 baths. And there are a few that work in my favor, but most of the comps in the area for recent sales work way more in their favor than mine. And of course, part of this due diligence process for them buying the house, the bank has to send out an assessor to value my property and say that yes, it's worth 275 in order to approve the loan for them. So, you know, we were slightly worried that the comps might be a problem for us, because I mean, some of the 3-bed, 2 baths that have sold recently in the area that look pretty decent, you know, they don't all have the same nice features as mine, and they aren't done quite as well inside, but they're still decent looking houses. We're going in the like 240, 250 range. So that could be a challenge. But then again, I found a few houses that went for more than 275. So I think that it'll work out okay, but because the comps are so tough, because I'm leaving soon, I decided to just accept it. So I would have been thrilled if it was a little bit more, but I'm happy with 275. I'm okay with that. The way that the numbers are gonna work out for me here, I only bought this house in 2022. I put a ton of money into it. to fix it up and remodel it, thinking that I was going to be here for many more years than what has turned out to be the case. So I'm just glad that I am not losing money on this deal. I will come out ahead by like a few $1,000s by the time you factor in all of the renovation upgrades that I did, my purchase price, and factoring in closing costs for selling the house. I will come out ahead, but not by a ton. I bought the house for $164. I did the math on it, everything that I have actual receipts for. I put in, I'm pretty sure it was $92,600 worth of renovation into the place. Closing costs are gonna be around $15K. So even selling at $275, I will come out just slightly ahead, and I'm glad for that. Now, I only owe on the property about $123,000. So I'm gonna have a good bit of equity come out of this house that I can add to my portfolio to live off of while I'm in Sweden. Even still, it's lean fire, y'all. I was calculating in my am I fi yet percentage number on my budget spreadsheet every month. I had an estimation of the equity in this house factored into that percentage number. So even with selling my house, I am still not going to be at the fire number that I had in mind. So it is going to be very much a lean fire challenge for me, getting over to Sweden, but I am just glad that I'm gonna be able to make it. I'm gonna be able to go to that Heilong show that I want to. I am expecting to sign paperwork tonight for earnest money and all of that. You know, that'll come my way sometime this evening, and I'll get that paperwork signed, which also ends up being a good thing because, again, we're not 100% clear on this between me and Christopher, but he has sold a few houses in his day in Sweden. And the way that he understands it, of course, a home sale works a little bit differently over there than it does in the US, but our most basic understanding about this is that once you have a paper trail signed and started, that is when Sweden considers your house sold. Like, I will have a contract signed tonight for them to buy my house. So at that point, the house is sold. And if they back out for whatever reason, well, that's them breaking the contract. But in Sweden's eyes, if we're understanding this correctly, my house is going to be considered sold tonight when I sign that paperwork. So this also potentially saves a lot of hassle for us next year when we go to file taxes if Sweden will not even look at my home sale and try to claim capital gains at all. Because if it's considered sold before I leave, that would be the best thing. Now, again, we are not 100% sure on that. If they end up looking at the closing date, well, that's going to be around the middle of September, and I will be in Sweden at that point. So if they do consider me a tax resident of Sweden at that point, then maybe next year they will try to claim some capital gains, which if they do, it's fine. I don't have any for them to claim not selling this low. And I have the receipts and everything to back that up. It just makes the filing taxes a little bit more tricky and cumbersome next year whenever we have to do it. So that was the biggest update that I have for you, the house situation. So I listed it originally at $294,900 and it sold for $275,000. So approximately $20,000 less than what I had originally listed it at. But you know what's funny, you guys, if you think about it? I moved my pets over to Sweden at the end of April, beginning of May, flew back home, got this house listed as quickly as I possibly could. And if this house had sold for asking price as soon as it hit the market or pretty quickly thereafter, I would not have finished my 2 jobs for the full year. I would not have earned all of the income that I have earned working all the way through July, basically. And if you actually go back and look at that July budget review, my take-home pay for July, because I had my sign-on bonus on there, because it was a 6 paycheck month, my take-home pay in July alone was $20,000. So yes, I'm selling my house for $20,000 less than what I had hoped to get for it, but I earned that $20,000 back the hard way, just continuing to work for as long as I did. So, I mean, the most ideal thing would have been, you know, I sold the house for asking price originally and just didn't get a buyer until now, because then I would have earned all that money and sold it at a higher price. But hey, you know, it didn't work out that way because the real estate market right now is tough. So that, I believe, is all of the updates that I have about the situation. I have been just internally panicking since I accepted their offer. I've just been thinking about all the things that I need to do now. I started packing today just to see if what I had left was going to fit in my carry-on. Thankfully it does, amazingly. But now I'm starting to think about all the other things, like, oh, okay, I need to, you know, cancel my utilities, get that ready to go. I need to schedule canceling my internet, and yeah, just a lot of ancillary stuff to do now. But oh, that was one other thing that I wanted to mention about haggling back and forth with this interested party that was going to buy my house is, you know, I started thinking about it, and I was going to fly to Sweden Friday. I knew that. And if I was going to haggle back and forth with them between 272 and 279, by the time that I had scared them away, and by the time I found new buyers and had them come in and buy the house at a price that I was happier with, it would have been how many more months? At least probably 2-3 more months before that happened. So meanwhile, I would have been moved to Sweden and still floating all of the costs of maintaining this house and paying my mortgage every month while I'm not living in it. So yes, it does sting just slightly to let it go for $275, but I do still feel like that was the best choice. I am glad that, you know, buying a home and renovating it and then turning around and selling it in such a short time frame, especially considering how much money I did put into this place. I mean, if I had done more basic upgrades, it wouldn't have been so expensive, but I thought I was going to be here a while. I'm just glad that I am getting my money back out of it, and then some, a little bit. So all around, I think that this was just a good thing, good timing. The universe put it off to the very last minute here, but I'm glad it's happening. And y'all just keep the good vibes coming towards me, that everything during this due diligence process will go smoothly and there won't be any troubles getting the house sold. Because here in a few days, my next update may very well be from Sweden. So yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed. It's a big day today. And I'll catch you guys in my next video. Bye y'all.